Ryan, you want to sit here?
No, I'm gonna
You can
stand.
sit here.
No, that's fine. You make a cute couple.
So what I did.
Next 90 years.
Can I have you film?
Just list some Bible verses
Maybe over here.
about the blessings that fathers can give their children. So Psalms 127:3-5. Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord. The fruit of the womb, a reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior are the children of one's youth. Blessed is the man who fills his quiver with them. Proverbs 17:6. Children's children are the crown of old men. So your grandchildren are the crown of old men. And the glory of children is their father. James 1:12. Blessed is the man who endures temptation. For when he has been approved, he will receive the crown of life, which the Lord has promised to those who love him. Proverbs 20. The righteous man walks in his integrity. His children are blessed after him. And then the last Bible verse, Deuteronomy 6:6-9. And these words which I command you today shall be in your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children. And you shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. And that's the father that you were. You shared the words of the Lord to your children. And you were, although imperfect, you led by example with your commitment to the Lord. Always making sure that you got us to church. Always getting yourself and mom to church.
Most of you. They weren't as smart as me. That was good.
And some of my special memories, and then I'll hand it off to your oldest son. Some of my special memories were just how at all my track meets, you always made sure to buy me a t-shirt. Yes. You always wanted to make sure that I remembered the track meet that I was at and that it was a special day for me, and you didn't want me to ever forget all of those special memories. And so I just want to thank you for all those t-shirts you bought me through the years, Dad. And I'll never forget the time you brought home a hitchhiker from Germany.
Yes.
I don't know why, but that always sat with me, that you opened up your heart and you opened up your home to a stranger. And that just always left an impact on my life, that you were willing to do that. I thought that was very special. My special memory also of going camping with you one-on-one as your daughter with our horses. That was a very special weekend for me.
You were pretty scared of that.
I was. Yeah, just like Ron's rally, I was making sure he takes you on scary places. And then also special memories, always when you would return home from your hunting trips, you would always bring us home, each of us children, a little gift from the gift shops that you were at in Wyoming or wherever you were at. You would come home with little special gifts from having been on your camping trip or hunting trip. And then also, I want to thank you for your generosity to me when I was a single mom and struggling financially. And I would come to your home and you would write checks to me. And I want to thank you for that, for being generous with me. And I want to thank you for meeting me at the park and sharing your testimony with me when we met in Escalon. I didn't know you growing up as a open man. You did lead with an iron fist, but I think that was what you knew. That's how you were taught. But that day that you met me at the park and shared your testimony with me, you showed me a different person, somebody that was soft and willing to be transparent and share your faults with me. And I just want to thank you for that. I love you, Dad. All right, Rodney.
Oh boy.
Lorraine, you should be sitting there.
No, I want him to have the.
So, take all the credit for this. Actually, Cindy takes credit for. But actually, as the plan came together, this actually worked out really nicely. So before I show you what this is, this picture actually came out to be something really relevant to this. Is that most of you don't know, I'm a big hunter. Maybe more than a big hunter. And so we really were talking about what... That's what I was doing too. Things that our father imparted to us, and certainly, besides the camping, dirt camping really. Now we have very elegant camping. Is the love of hunting, and just got back from Montana and shot a buck. Big time duck hunt. But anyway, so this is for you, and I think you'll remember the picture.
Oh. Yeah, it's looking in the blue lakes. Cables.
Yes. And it snowed in September.
Mountains and lakes.
Yeah.
And it was colder than a...
We drove up wearing shorts.
Oh yeah.
Snowing
Then it
outside.
snowed. In September.
In September.
And it was 20 degrees.
No, you don't do that in Montana.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my word.
Tell you what.
Son, that's precious. Thank you so much.
Can you turn it towards the camera here?
Well, I don't know if you'll be able to see it.
But we get the idea. Yeah. Here.
Look how happy Dad is hunting.
Oh wow. Oh, that's awesome.
A gallon of gas was 19 cents and 43.
Yeah. I used to gripe when it got up to 50 cents a gallon when I was your age.
This is BS.
I remember going to
You
gas
fill up your truck for like $3.
three girls and we had 15 cents. And we asked for 15 cents.
That's looking back towards Cape.
What things cost? Minimum wage, 30 cents. World population.
Oh, that's the time when he was born then, all the time.
Yeah.
Cool.
I actually went through those days.
I took a picture of it. I'm already, you can test me.
80 now, I'll be 90.
Yeah.
I think your 90 is
70 years ago, it was.
It was this, I know. I loved the one about the little prince. It's one of the
Yeah,
books.
your dad. Okay, here, I'll take that, honey.
Is it good?
Aaron.
Thank you for all the I think you're the one that came up with this.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's smart.
I'll hold on to
Very
it.
smart.
Yes. Oh yes, we should do this.
Sit back down.
That's what we learned from you, Dad. You don't have to be smart. Just marry a smart woman.
Yeah. God gave me her, so.
That's right. That's right.
Because if I didn't have her, I don't think I would be. You guys wouldn't be born.
That's true.
That's the science.
Amen.
I'd be getting more
Mathematics
trouble.
and biology.
Are you, is Lynn there?
Yeah, man.
So, as my sister Joy said, I'm going to talk about track and how much that track and my relationship with my dad formed so much of who I am, and who I am as a person, who I am as a mother, as a friend, as all of my experiences that I had with my dad. Thankfully, because no matter what was financially going on in our family, my dad would always make sure that there was food on the table and that we were able to be in sports, because that was something that was very important to both my parents, for them to provide that for us. And growing up with a single income and 4 kids who were all very, very active, I knew how much it meant for my dad to buy me and my sister a t-shirt every single track meet. That was a lot of money, because we always went out to eat, afterwards, and we bought a t-shirt. And I knew that that was my dad's hard-earned money that he was spending on me. And I would tell people that my dad would buy me a t-shirt.
to me that he didn't care what it cost. He just knew that he needed to provide for his kids. And something else that really shaped me, and I've seen my dad also continue to do this with my children, is that, you know, Dad, you showed up at every single track meet, sometimes practice, no matter what it took. And there was a moment that happened when I was on high school team, and my dad showed up in his fireman's uniform. And, you know, everybody was used to seeing my dad at all the track meets. So I was scaring away all the boys. Nobody wanted to date me. My dad. And this was confirmed by a lot of people later on. They said that we never asked you out because we were afraid of your dad. So, thanks, Dad. So he shows up in his fireman's uniform, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, is that your dad?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's my dad." Shows up to all of my, you know, all of my meets. And I remember one of the girls came up to me and she says, "My parents have never ever been to any of my track meets." Oh. And I was just like, "I'm so sorry," you know. And I said, "I'm so grateful that I have parents who will do anything to show their support." And it just meant the world to me. And I, to this day, still talk about it. That one of my, you know, proudest moments as a child is knowing that my parents, and especially my dad, would show up to all of my track meets that he could. And my dad has continued to do that with both of my children. So my kids have also been in soccer and lacrosse. And even when my oldest son didn't even play maybe 10 minutes in a game, my parents were still there supporting my children, doing the same thing that they did to us, and instilling that it's important for you to show up for them. And my dad does it also for Gavin and all of his soccer games. He goes to as many as he could. And there's a lady that is on our soccer team that is also a fireman. And so one day she came in her fireman's uniform, and I looked over at her, and I just burst into tears. And she looked at me, and she's like, "Why are you crying?" And I just went back to my childhood of all of those feelings that were just right there, just remembering how much it meant to me that you always made the time to do that. And I went up to her and I hugged her, and I told her, you know, how much it meant for me to see another parent doing the same thing. And then I told my dad, and so we shared that moment. And so, anyways, yeah, we were all crying, and still cry about it. It's just really important to be there for your kids, and now you continued that legacy even with your grandchildren, and I'm sure you'll be doing that with your great grandchildren. So I love you, and thank you for all of your time and commitment.
It's like every 10 minutes.
With my oldest daughter, what she said, that things were tough, single, didn't know where she was going to get her money, and I didn't have the money to give her. How God worked on that one, and I could see how God did that. I was retired from the fire service, and I was facilitating the fire academy, making buku bucks, making about $1,200 a month, and that's how I was able to take that to pay for quite a while. But I still had that money, and you know, you say, "Well, what'd you do with it all?" I couldn't quite explain to people that. Well, I'm supporting my daughter because she's in a rough way. She's got these little children and has no idea what a roof over her head. What she says, my granddad always told me, my important part about me is that I make sure you have a roof over your head, food in your belly, and clothes on your back, and that's it. Unfortunately, I carried that in when I started raising my children, and I didn't show them love, what I call real love. And but I was there for everything else. But there were times that I wasn't the best father in the world. Thank you. Okay.
Well.
You better sit down, honey.
Yeah, sit down.
Why don't you sit
Dad,
down?
I think to all young men, and to you, Dad, I think, you know, I think it's good that you look back and you really think about the way these challenges of the father. Because now the father of a son who's going through challenges. The challenge is that we as young men understand that about purity and living a life that's honoring to God. Like all the other kids, first of all, thank you for when those tough conversations had to happen. Thank you for listening, not judging. I mean, that's love. I mean, I know that you were stern, but when, as a child, you come to your parent with something shameful, and I know you had your own sin in your life, but to be able to listen and not judge, I mean, that's the thing I've had to learn with my children. Right? And I've learned that from you when I had to bring those sins to you and talk about them, and you would listen and try to give advice that I wouldn't listen to. And I realized with my kids, when I would give them advice, I knew they wouldn't listen to it either. But I learned how to listen to love. And I think, as a father, having to listen to a child share something with you that's shameful, to not judge, that's what love looks like. So I think, I think it's good to be critical of ourselves, but I think as a father, I want to reassure you that you are a loving father. I think my funny story, of course, other than hiding from you with church and trying to teach my brother how to do it. I love church, but not that church. But there's also that part, that sternness and that love where the day I had to walk into the principal's office and you're sitting there. And, that, again, is a moment of restraint as a father that says, son, this has gone too far, right? That you gave me freedom to be an idiot, but then when I was too much of an idiot, as a dad, you're going to want to let your sons be, who they need to be and allow them to make mistakes, and then listen to the mistakes when they happen. But Dad, you were forgiving and you were stern. But you in that moment you didn't turn into a tyrant. You definitely understood that I had reached the limit of whatever rope I had, and you made sure I was successfully out of high school. Right.
Yeah, I did.
And as an honor student who seemed to figure out a way to almost not graduate high school, that was a moment where you dragged me back, and it was an important moment because you saved me from, really, making some mistakes that would have been, catastrophic. So thank you for the freedom, first of all, and then thank you for the restraint. So I think, just Dad, finally, as a man who's been married many, many years with Mom, just thank you for, I know I want to say thanks to Mom for being who she is and illustrating to us what kind of women we need to marry. But just thanks, Dad, for loving Mom. And I know it's, as a man who's been married now for almost 30 years, how difficult that be. I get married to a different woman every year for the last 30 years of my life, which is an odd thing to go through. So, so I now, Dad, I wanted to say, going forward, let's celebrate, you as a man of God, a man who's had a marriage that is one that, I hope that, I can stay with my wife and fight a good fight for the many years we have left together. And and also, last thing, thank you for staying healthy. It's an inspiration to me, I really thank you for showing what it means to go hunting even when you don't shoot the deer. Thank you for being who you are.
Thank you.
If you want to know about the deer story, it's left in history books.
I shot all my deer and my elk, my cow elk, and I brought them home and had them processed and had them made into the best jerky there ever was in the city of Manteca. This guy had awards for it, and I had all this jerky, piles of it, in the refrigerator.
Freezer.
It was good, Dad.
Yeah,
I know it
thank
was.
you. I love
Because I
it.
never got to eat it.
I know.
They all ate it. And I was getting ready to go on my next hunting trip. I go out there, where's my jerky? And all the sausage.
It was good.
Go back out hunting again.
Yeah, go hunting again.
I think somebody.
It says, when you hunt and you shoot something, a good hunt is now ruined because now you have to go to work and you have to drag that thing. And you have to drag it for hours. I got videos of me here. 8 years old. I know. And we would drag them back to the truck. And I'm telling you that's I still figuring out ways. We're gonna figure out this way. I'm gonna have my ATV. We're gonna pack it on that ATV this time. So
It was on wheels.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
anyway.
Grandpa, we're gonna have the grandchildren share now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
So growing up, a lot of my memories with my grandpa involve shooting and hunting. He was the one that taught me how to shoot my very first .22 bolt action camouflage little rifle.
I won that at Ducks Unlimited.
Yeah. But he taught me how to shoot and he taught me how to hunt. And when I went into the military and we did our CADM, which is like combat arms training, I was one of the two people in a flight of 60 other men that shot marksmen. And I just told everybody it was him. He taught me how to shoot.
And he also sent me a medallion for that.
Yeah. So I've got a couple stories that involve hunting that are just memorable to me. Yeah, so the first one actually involves Uncle Aaron as well. I think we all went to Lake Pardee. Was it Pardee? And we were all in a pontoon boat going fishing all day, and we actually caught a ton of fish, like a lot of fish, and we had it on a chain stringer. And towards the end of the day, they were sitting out in the sun for a long time, and it looked like they were getting a little dry. And I think I was like 12 or somewhere around there. And I picked up all the fish to dunk them in the water to cool them off or get them wet again. And then the stringer slipped out of my hand, and I watched all the fish just sink to the bottom of the lake. And I turned around and looked at my grandpa, and he was like, "What happened?" And I was like, "The fish are gone. The fish are gone." And he said to not be upset, to don't worry about it. The memory was the trip itself. It wasn't the fish.
He would remember it, and he does.
He's still upset. Always talks about it.
The second memory is a little more lighthearted, a little more funny. We were going camping again this time, we were going hunting again. This time we were going after pheasant. And I think we had a limit of like 8 pheasant or something like that. And we got 7 at the end of the day, and you were like, all right, let's head home, you know? And we're in the parking lot, and you'd open up the back of your SUV, and we're putting the pheasants and the shotguns in there, and I swear, out of nowhere, you just turned your head like that, and like 20 feet away, in a tree, you were like, I'll be right back. And you grabbed your shotgun, and you walked like 20 feet away to the trunk of the tree, and looked up into the branches of it, and like with all these other cars around in the parking lot, like just a regular parking lot, and just like bam, and he shoots, and then it falls out of the tree, and he picks it up. He's like, "All right, there's 8." And we went home.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, duck hunting too. That's a very good memory.
Tell him that one.
So he took me on a youth duck hunting trip when I was very young. It was supposed to be a group of kids that were around my age, but only one other kid and his parent ended up showing up, and the kid ended up getting sick or something and having to leave. So it ended up being me and my grandpa and 2 professional duck callers. And I shot so many ducks and geese that day, I think I broke the county record. And they took a picture of me for their newspaper and stuff like that. It was pretty crazy. He said they were raining down like meteors. It was like a meteor shower just hitting the water. Just bam, bam, bam.
He's left-handed.
Yeah.
He's shooting a right-handed shotgun.
Yeah.
And which coils out this way.
Yep.
But when you got the left one, you got these shells going, bam, bam, and he is dusting them.
Yeah.
He is stoning them. These geese are coming in. I've never heard this many birds, what do you want to call it, leave the ponds when we were coming in, because
like
all these birds had rafted because the season was over with. And we were going out under Ducks Unlimited guidance and so forth that I paid for at an auction, and taking him out there, and we hit one of the first areas, and the thundering roar of all of those birds. I just like, damn, I couldn't believe it.
Sky turns black.
Yeah, but it was dark. We couldn't see him.
Yeah.
All we could do was hear him. Anyways, as there was these guys I knew, the Fletchers, and also I had one of my dogs that sold to the guy. He had it out there. Anyway, he was shooting. It was amazing to me that he was stoning them. In fact, I got one of the birds in my garage that we had mounted for you.
Yeah.
Drake Mallard, big bull. Would come in, and then we jump up. How I can explain this, basically it was like, oh shit. Boom, boom, down it went. You know.
Oh, like he saw me or something.
Yeah.
He was trying to back
because
up.
it came up. And that's when he went, oh, boom, down it goes. Okay, we'll take him. So then, all the birds we were hearing were geese.
Mm-hmm.
And the geese, when they were coming in, all were dropping.
Yeah.
Food, and all you can hear is this big puff, you know.
It's poop rain. It's poop rain.
So then the next wave comes in, and they tell Robbie, okay, get ready. And he's also shooting, not shooting 4s, he's shooting 6.
It was steel shot.
Steel, it was steel, but it was underpowered.
Yeah.
And for geese. And he steps out, and as they're coming in, we got waves coming now. He's out there, boom! Boom! And these guys are scampering into the water getting the geese.
Yeah, like trying to keep up.
So I told him, says, well, we've limited out in every species. Pintails, mallards, geese, you had them all. And he's carrying them, a little kid, and he's carrying them, and we look back at him and says, I think we've ruined this kid because he'll never have a shoot like this the rest of his life.
That was a very memorable trip.
And Rod would know
Yeah.
that because he's
Very memorable trip.
yeah. And I got a picture of you that.
Yeah, I have that picture too.
Do you have it?
Yeah, with all of them strung around my neck. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh man.
Oh, man. Oh, our grandbaby.
I know.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I probably have to say that, some of my favorite memories with my grandpa are always that, we would go and stay with our grandma and grandpa too, but, we're girls, so a lot of our time was spent with grandma. But he always would make time to do little things with us girls, breakfast in the morning always, take us to the country club and do that with us, and then the ATV rides I always remember with grandpa. And I was actually thinking about it, and I thought, I think my grandpa's probably the person that maybe taught me to drive, not a car, but a golf cart.
Yeah.
Every time we'd go up there, it was the golf cart, grandpa'd light up a cigar, and we'd go push around the neighborhoods, and anywhere I wanted to go, he'd let me turn up this way, go ahead, go this way, so those are probably some of my favorite memories with you, and
I have to say, I think having no tickets taught me to drive.
definitely a good teacher.
Yeah.
Yep, those are some of my favorite memories with you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Favorite memories. Did you get pictures?
Oh,
Oh,
we're
not yet.
getting.
We're gonna do some.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna get like formal pictures in just a minute.
Yeah, I'll get them changed and we'll do a nice picture with you guys. Hi, boys.
Yeah, I can filter that.
Happy birthday.
There's
Grandpa.
this
I
thing
love
called
you.
on your iPhone.
Yeah.
It's called an app.
About like
Yeah.
filters.
Yeah.
No, I'll do it.
That one. Like old people.
You remember that picture, the family picture we took?
Oh, why you sent me the
And
picture?
Grandpa's like sitting like this.
Well, I don't remember
Well,
it. I think
Grandpa
I was.
actually wants
yeah.
to
What?
recreate a
Yeah.
picture. Do you want to do that now, Dad?
Yeah.
So we do the pictures, let's do
Sure.
the pictures now?
Sure.
Yeah, before everybody, okay.
Everybody gets